Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to another episode. This is Cali Manila Chronicles, Chismis at Recuerdos, the podcast.
Episode 7.
Woo! Episode 7.
There you go.
Wow, we're moving. I want to call this episode out as our Thanksgiving episode because for us here in the United States, it is Thanksgiving Day. Um, it's a day where we celebrate to give thanks here in the United States. And what's the significance of this is I guess, the quick history lesson. Um, many years ago, I think it was in the 1600s. It was a way to give thanks for the harvest and blessings of the past year. And it was rooted in a feast between pilgrims. So the pilgrims are the first people who moved from England to the United States, and with the Native Americans. Symbolizes gratitude, unity, and the importance of family gatherings. So usually, I need to send pictures I would to our viewers. We're gonna have our big meal of turkey and then a lot of other sides. So it's a nice feast, and we're gonna be celebrating with friends and family. So excited for that. Um, let's go into relevant chismes because we have
Yeah.
a we have a lot of
Yeah.
things to talk about, but I'll start it off first with
Yeah, go
I'm
go ahead. Go ahead, bro.
yeah, let's bring up the main things. I'm thankful to have survived dog bite this past weekend. So here's my hand. I got bit in the hand this past weekend. Um, Survived it. Went to Fortunately had to go to the hospital and got admitted for uh a day, a little over a day. But yeah, it's something I thought that was harmless turned out to be a little bit bigger than that. So I'll talk more about that later this episode. But
Okay.
uh, thankful, gotta start that off because that's something to be grateful for, gift of life. Let's see what other things I don't know if you've listened yet to the newest Kendrick Lamar album,
I ha-
GNX.
I have not, but it keeps coming up on my Spotify and on my YouTube, and it's I haven't heard it, so probably I'll probably tomorrow I'll just give it a try and check on it. Uh, Kendrick has been topping up on my search engine as well, so and my IG feed, so
Yes,
it's giving me the so I'll probably hear and check that song. He's been with everywhere as well. He's been with Kevin Hart. He's on the
it's
streams
promoting.
uh, with uh, with everyone promoting it. So
Yeah,
well, he's one. I think he's one of the best lyricists that I've on in this generation. Uh, if you if you are a fan of lyrics and the words with that he uses, it's top notch. It's top notch. So
agreed.
and it continues to improve and giving more impact. So it's not just and it gives like different perspectives.
Hmm.
So so I really like uh how he composed his music and the structure of it. So kudos to Kendrick.
Absolutely. No, I agree uh, with Kendrick being one of the best lyricists, if not the best lyricist in this generation. I think the way that Kendrick Lamar just weaves the storyline from album to album. Um, if anyone wants a podcast to listen to about a deep breakdown of his music and his albums, there's Dissect. But man, just such a great lyricist. And I also love the way that he pulls members of his local community to be part of the
Yeah.
album. Like this album was full of features, and it's not the typical features that, like, like Drake typically does. It's more popular features. These ones are local underground rappers, specifically from LA. So he's
Yeah.
highlighting his own people and bringing them up. And he's also featuring a mariachi singer. So very different cultures too. Um, he's he's trying to bring obviously within the black cultures.
Mm-hmm.
He's bridging that gap between or that bridging that divide between the rival gangs, which he talks about
Yeah.
in his albums, but also the different cultures of Latino and Black cultures here in Los Angeles. So super excited to listen to it more. I think I've listened to it 5 times now, and
Oh,
yeah, you got to listen to it multiple times in order to catch all the
I'm still not getting over of Bruno Mars songs
You're still on Bruno Mars right now. Yeah.
with with
Okay.
Lady Gaga and with Rose.
Rose. They just won
Wow.
too. They just won an award, didn't they?
Yeah, I'm just so amazed with Bruno on how he adapts,
Mm.
like
Hmm.
just to make it more interesting for the listeners.
Yeah.
Before it's like you feature that, feature there, or having your own song, and now you build a band with Silk the creativity and the partnership, and
Yeah.
then after the Silk Sonic album, you go right away. Oh, I have a song with Lady Gaga. Oh, it's
Mm.
like, oh, surprise! I have another one with Rose.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's really cool from him.
I like that you point that out too, because I see his social media where he's doing concerts in different places, and I think he just came back from Brazil. And when he goes to certain areas, he makes it an effort to feature the local area too. So, like in Brazil, he makes an effort to create reels about Brazil and the people and the different places that he visits. Just
Yeah,
all around good dude. And he makes an effort to highlight the the great elements of those cultures. So shout out to Bruno again.
yeah.
What's happening in the Philippines? What's new?
Well, as of the moment with here is, that Philippines is really, really a basketball fanatic. We really love basketball here, and I would say that uh, we have, I think, the second to the last FIBA Asia Cup qualifier,
Yeah,
and we both won. First, we won against New Zealand, which we always have a tough matchup, and we won decisively. And then the second is with Hong Kong, which we also won with a big gap, which is it's typical. We It's easy with Hong Kong as of the moment.
yeah.
But uh, it's really good to see. It's always like a Manny Pacquiao where everyone is really watching and staying in watching TV just
Hmm.
just to watch the basketball game. And there's also one uh, that is trending, which is one of the NBA players, the rookie one from the
Jared
Philadelphia
McCain.
76. Yes, yes. He announced it on social media that his roots is coming from the Philippines. So everyone is like, oh, I want to have the big five of all the Filipinos in the NBA, which is we already have three half Filipinos, not full blooded. It's
Yes.
Jordan Clarkson, Jalen Green, and Jared McCain now. So
Hmm.
so everyone is hyped up with it. But
Yes.
to spoil everyone for our listeners, I can share that it's really difficult ever since, probably because Philippines is could be in an advantageous spot if they agree to it,
Yes.
and uh, and I think some politics related to the FIBA or FIFA also plays out. These world sports organizations, uh, it's very very meticulous and very political with it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
because they want to earn money as well.
Yeah.
Like for example, before you go to one spot, that's your FIBA Asia Cup, that's your FIBA Asia qualifiers.
Mm-hmm.
Right now they're going to different places for the qualifying. If you go
Yes.
to FIFA, the qualifying is like this place, this place, this place, this place. Even the Olympics, right? If you saw, it's like you're going to three stadiums, and then the final one will just be on this place
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because there's sponsorships. There's so even the players, like how set up players, the Philippines, they're only allowed one. It's a rule for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
but in some qualifiers, you can see, oh, this country has multiple foreign, full foreign, and it's only allowed for one. And you're like surprised, oh, why is he playing there? How come
Mm-hmm.
he is already naturalized or already have their passport?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the tricky part. That's the
Yeah.
tricky part. So if you played for Jared, then we couldn't. If Jared like
Wants to
wants to
play.
be wants to play with the national team, then Jordan Clarkson couldn't play.
I see. I see.
So I
Wow.
think
Yeah.
it's also to adapt different countries. Australia has been there, Japan, so we have NBA players now,
Mm-hmm.
and they're only doing it as as uh as 95% all national players, like all full-blooded,
Yeah.
and everyone is adapting to their naturalized. For example, for USA team,
Mm-hmm.
Joel Embiid is their naturalized player
Mm-hmm.
because there's an option, right? He could play for France,
For
and
Cameroon.
yes, and for Olympics, he could now either France or US.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he chose for US.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, it is a difficult conversation, right? Like where um who do you get to represent when you're part of so many different cultures? So, like for me, I still identify as Filipino, but I also identify as American because I've lived here longer than I've lived in the Philippines at this point. But I still heavily consider myself as Filipino. Like when people ask me, where are you from? I still tell them I'm from the Philippines because a significant part of my growing up stage
Yeah,
was in the
there
Philippines. So I'm sure it's similar to these guys, right? But to like Jared McCain and Jordan Clarkson and Jalen Green, they may have grown up here in the United States, but I don't know, maybe their parents really instilled in the Filipino values and Filipino upbringing that uh
definitely.
how do you tell them, oh, you're not Filipino, but they grown up in that. So it's interesting. I'm excited to see if we can get all three of them on one team, man.
Yeah,
Ballers.
it yes, but it's still difficult as well because there's different FIBA or Olympics have a different rules,
Yeah.
so it
Yeah,
just
yeah.
makes tougher for everybody to play.
For
And
sure.
even the US is still having a tough one on playing on the different rules,
Yeah,
different ball, different rules.
totally. I could just imagine the impact of that on the culture, on basketball culture in the Philippines. Yeah, different playing
Everyone is
style, right?
yeah, everyone is like looking forward for this because we ever qualified for the FIBA Asia Cup and we won it.
Mm.
We go straight right away for the like we are qualified for Olympics,
Oh, wow.
so to uh we don't need to have another FIBA Olympic qualifying.
I see. Okay. Wow.
So that's the I
It's a
and
significant
I
advantage, yeah.
yes, and I think we could be on the advantage because the event will be held on Saudi Arabia,
Oh, okay.
which I do believe that we already have lots of Filipinos working there.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
yeah.
probably everyone will be watching there.
Oh, absolutely.
So, is that could be an advantage because I would say this distractions because family. I'm not saying they're inspirations, but uh, you cannot control your phone. Right?
Yeah,
Everyone wants to get tickets if they're
yeah,
here, but yeah, it could be an advantage there, but it also could be an advantage here because
yeah.
they won silver medal here on the like second, third previous time of the FIFA Asia Cup
I see. Wow. Well, something to look forward to. When is that happening? When do the
next
FIBA
year.
games? It's next year.
There's
Okay.
there's the last qualifying window,
Yeah.
but on that qualifying window, uh, they're already qualified, so it's just more like just competing on these games.
Love it. Cool, cool. Sounds good. I'm just gonna call it out real quick. I had my notes showing on the show screen earlier, so if anyone's watching the show and you've tuned in long enough at this point, you might have been seeing my notes. So you guys can
If
will
we
know that we
ever,
prepare.
yeah, if we ever, we will try to edit it. So if you haven't seen that, we will just edit it out.
We'll see. We'll see. Maybe it's good. You guys know that we prepare for these shows. We don't just go in without preparation, but we allow ourselves to discuss and talk through it because I think Sean and I have a lot of fun discussions over just anything and everything. And we have to rein it in a little bit so we can fit it in
Yeah,
within 45 minutes to an hour. So we'll go back to uh, the main content now. So, again, this is a Thanksgiving episode, so I want to thank the listeners uh, to looking at analytics again, because this is huge for us. We started this podcast in September of this year of 2024. Um, End of September, and we had 6 episodes so far. This is the seventh. And so we're available on Spotify and on YouTube. And on Spotify, we had just hit 250 plus streams. So
that's awesome.
I think the exact number is like 260. It's actually closer to 270, but yeah, 250 plus streams. It's crazy that people are listening to us because again,
Yeah,
we started this show just with the thought of we have such like rich discussions. I wonder what people will feel or think
yeah,
about what we're talking about, and I guess they're watching and listening. The analytics also say that people have tuned in for over 70 plus hours. So
wow, wow,
crazy.
yeah,
Thank you for giving us at the time of day. And if you're listening or watching, uh, let us know in the comments if you prefer to tune in via audio only or via video so that we could improve our video or audio quality. Um, or if you just like having us in the background, that's
yeah.
all
While
good too.
driving,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that's why I would like to shout out my kinakapatid, my childhood friend Sean. We have the same name, first name, and then Sean. When we last have a conversation, like, oh, I've been uh, I already catch up with your episodes, and I really do love the content. So shout out to you, and this is another content for you to have while you're driving. So I hope you enjoy this, bro.
Very nice. Salamat, Sean. So another thank you to the people who give us feedback. This just allows us to get better at this. Again, this is just a hobby of ours, but we want this podcast to be for you guys, and we want it to be helpful in any ways. If it's keeping you company on your drives, or you're learning something from it, whether it's the chismis section or you're learning about what's happening in pop culture or political culture, um, or you're here for our guests. Our guests are uh, also have a rich experience in
Yeah.
within their own field, and they all have great things to share. Uh, you know what? I really want to recap the last few episodes that we've had so far as well, because we've had we've had two guests so far, and we've talked extensively about our teachers at this point, because
Hmm.
for the listeners who are just tuning in, we started this show because Sean and I knew
Yeah.
each other from elementary school. We've known each other over 20 years, and a lot of that is because of our teachers. We talked about that briefly during the not briefly actually. We talked about it extensively in one of our earlier episodes, remembering the teachers who were very formative in our years at St. Mary's College. And then we connected with one of our really good friends, Mark Angelico Santos, who
Yes.
is an architect and professor at the University of Santo Tomas. And the harsh commuting conditions in Manila. So traveling from Cavite to Manila to get to UST where he teaches, and it takes about 6 hours round trip. So
Wow.
yeah, it's still a crazy amount of time. And it puts into perspective the different conditions that we have here in the United States and in the Philippines, but everyone's just trying to grind for a better life.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Uh, well, it's the conditions I think that give hardships to Filipino commuters. Uh, I think it's you have a strong economy, or you're in a first world country, or you may be on a modern world country where they prioritize you to
Hmm.
commute, and you give different multiple options, and it
Yes.
varies to different countries, right? So in US, yeah, we have I would say different multiple options, but it's also best to take the road because it's really quite a big area,
Hmm.
and uh and and there's already like an ongoing improvement to the transportation, uh, but it's different here in the Philippines. That's why the politicians, leaders, researchers, engineers, architects are trying to pattern out whether the countries have the same situation. So
Yes.
like Hong Kong, Singapore, but it's difficult, I would say, because it's a different factor, multiple indicators, multiple factors that should come in and integrate it and be synchronized and just for one go. Uh, I
Yeah.
hope I hope we could lead into that in like 10 years time because there's no skipping it. There's no shortcut for it.
Hmm.
So I hope in 10 years time it could be like coming from my house, I have the option and where if I go to this jeepney stop, if I go to this bus stop, if I go to the LRT station, I know I'm getting from point A to point B and it's already calculated
Yes.
rather
Yeah.
than I'll just have 2 hours lead time. I'll just have 3 hours lead time and then whatever happens
Hmm.
afterwards. Because I think everyone right now is just doing that. And if there's like accident, oh okay, I F up.
Yeah.
There's traffic. I couldn't make it. I'm already late.
Yes. Yes. I think it's very clear that there's frustration with the current infrastructure and that there needs to be changes. So again, it's so inspiring for me to hear Mark talk so passionately about what changes he would like to do. And um, I I'd love to hear Mark again and
Yeah.
uh, on what specific plans he'd like to enact if he was in position to do so. Uh, so again, shout out to Mark. Thank you for joining us on the show a few episodes ago. And then the other two episodes that we recently just launched, it was with Abby Mendez, Abby Ina Mendez. We also had great conversations with her as she talks about navigating through the struggles of understanding like what how does she balance the creative side and the
Yeah.
practical side. I
Yeah.
think we can all agree that we go through this. I think for me as well, I we all have a desire to just make money to sustain uh, uh, our livelihood, like the basic uh, basic necessities of life, whether
Yeah.
it's food, just having enough money for entertainment,
Yeah.
housing. Like housing is just not
Well,
affordable anymore. Yeah.
yeah. I'm still amazed that she shared that she's a licensed mermaid first.
Yes.
Uh, in terms of like different, that's the catch here. I just had a news article by a real estate broker that there's still potential with the real estate. Yeah, but the purchasing power for the average in monthly income is around 26,000 to 28,000. If
Mm-hmm.
you go to BGC Makati, where the jobs they're coming from jobs, the average rent price is 50 to 60 to 80 to 100,000 pesos. So that's not enough,
Mm-hmm.
and we're having oversupply of condominiums of units. So I'm not sure. I'm not a real estate, or urban planner for in order for me to have a solution right away for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think on my side, I hope we could have like different options, financing options, that the government could instill.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you have that there, and uh, I think they should look into it, especially for the middle class, because that's your strong point. That's your bread and butter, and that's how you can economy grow, which with your middle class.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. No, absolutely. I think it's difficult to even here, right? It's difficult to balance practicality and creativity. The standard of living is slightly better, of course, compared to the Philippines. Um, but yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same issues that we're going through where uh, housing is so expensive. So like here in Los Angeles, the average for a one bedroom is probably closer to $2,000. So what's that conversion rate to pesos? $2,000 is um, times
Probably
50,
like, yeah,
times 50
yeah,
or
it's
55. So
so
it's
100, right?
yeah, 100,000 pesos. Yeah. So and minimum wage right now is 15 to $20. So for restaurant workers it's $20 an hour. So it you can get by, but all of your money is definitely going into housing. And
Yeah,
then food here is about $20, like averaging 15 to $20 per meal. Like same thing with like a McDonald's meal is close to $15. So yeah, all of your money is really going into just the basic necessities. So
yeah,
there's a problem that's going on. There's inflation that's going on, and I think people are all feeling it. Um, and that it really dampens the opportunity to be more creative, to tap into
yes,
creative areas. So yeah, something like uh, uh, people like Abby who want to tap into their creative side, but if you don't have the the capital to make things like that happen, to pursue design and spend on your craft, it's expensive. So um, hoping that people can support that. Like, let's support our creatives, whether it's Abby or other people in our lives who are pursuing a creative um, career or
Yeah.
just a creative hobby. I think we need to nurture that because that's just as important.
And
Yeah.
if I could add to that, is it's more really more on like uh, for those who are getting, oh, why does he or she have multiple sidelines, hustle?
Hmm.
I think they're creating that opportunity for them.
Hmm.
It's not just heading over.
Yes.
Again, I would say the if you ask me, the no capital is selling your service,
Yeah.
selling service. So uh, I think it's more easier there as long as you're not picky.
Hmm.
It's hard, but there is opportunity. Here, it's more difficult because you can get clients outside Philippines. Inside the Philippines, you have a difficulty because you have to build your own brand,
Yeah.
uh, and and it's not the same like here. If you're doing well, they want you to do more, and it's just a
Yes.
side hustle because
Hmm.
they want to take advantage of you. So you
Yeah.
have to accept that reality in terms of like if you're going for like you want bookkeeping, you have to bookkeeping a day for like 2,000. If you do to 2,500, better for them.
Hmm.
But that's how it is here,
Yeah.
right? And I could say if you could come back at me with this, where uh there, if your contract says this one, and after that you don't need to do the 500. If we talk about 2,000, because they don't want to add additional charges for you, and you
Yeah.
cannot say thank you, like no, 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 that's my going above and beyond
Hmm.
with your work. And I think it's not the same
I see.
here. It's not the same in how we do business in terms of that, because really here we just go above. That's why probably BPO wants it here
Hmm.
because of that, because
What
they're
is
trying
BPO?
to. This is business process outsourcing.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So like, oh, we're giving jobs there in the Philippines, in Manila. We're gonna take advantage of it.
I see. I see. Got it. Yeah. I mean, all of this ties together with our conversation with Mark too, right? Where if you're already spending all this time commuting and then
Yeah,
you're trying to do your side hustles in order to make ends meet.
yeah,
I think Abby briefly alluded to it. She doesn't sleep. That's the only way that you can make things happen. And so, yeah, again, we're hoping that this podcast could can be a resource for our friends and for anyone who's listening and watching. Uh, that this becomes a platform to talk about what is it that you want to do, and how can we help connect you with other friends so that we can all just go up together. Because yeah, that's the only way we're gonna get through this. I don't,
yeah.
and not just through it, right? It's how we're gonna all succeed in the future is if we help each other out. Yeah.
Yes.
So I want to go next into the next section of things we're thankful for because
Oh, okay.
um, I think this podcast is definitely for me one of the things that
Because
I'm
it's
thankful for.
Thanksgiving Day, so it's
Yes,
really feeling that we should do this segment.
absolutely, absolutely. Do you want to start off? What are you thankful for?
I'm thankful for. my wife. Uh, we're we'll be celebrating our wedding anniversary this end of December. So this is our first wedding anniversary. So I'm really thankful for the partnership. And as we go along for the ride, I hope we're slowly getting our goals and couple, what we wanted to do, what we wanted to achieve, and at the same time, hopefully we could build a family moving forward with it. I'm thankful
Yes.
as well for my parents and my in-laws. They've been through the ups and downs, uh, and uh, I I think they are our backbone on our marriage. So, uh, and as well, I think health is really important.
Mhm.
So, uh, my April is telling me like, do don't overdo, right? Don't do too many things. uh,
Yes.
uh, but at the same time, I would say, uh, I'm in this drive where you wanted to do so much. But I know that doing so much could lead to, health restrictions moving
Yeah.
forward. So I'm trying to pace myself from it.
Yeah.
Uh, but I still want to go and achieve it, right?
Right.
So uh, it's more of a balance, and I'm trying to uh, be more involved to, a CrossFit, gym, running, having my own kettlebells equipment,
Yeah.
uh, having couple workouts, just having that nature that you could still eat uh, anything that you want with the right balance, and just
Yes.
thankful for everybody. Uh, s- it's always like every year. Uh, Sadly, some of our friends, relatives passed.
Mm.
Uh, but it's always the way, the circle of life. It's
Mm-hmm.
not it's not Lion King stuff, but 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 that way where you are accepting that
Yeah.
that there will be still the end, but at the same time, uh, you know, as much as you can, you want to be safe. Everybody is safe,
Yeah.
and if there's a relative friend, close friend that is like experiencing that hardship where health could lead to something like they will be ending their end of their life. I hope it would not be like if it's in the hospital, too much, too much anything that could give more hardship from it could be more. You want to just walk away. Go with the Lord.
Mm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that's and yeah, that's I'm really thankful. I'm not very a celebratory person. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Sagittarius also, so it's it's more of like I just want to be with family and friends,
Mm-hmm.
uh, not like on a celebratory kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
just having a dinner, having thankful that I'm still here,
Yes.
and I
Absolutely.
hope I could achieve more and give more impact. Uh, but yeah, I'm looking forward for the years ahead.
That's awesome. Yeah, it sounds like you're alluding to like leaving behind a legacy that you can be proud of. Question to you, because I know you also mentioned wanting to focus on your physical health. I know you just finished a few races, like 5Ks, 10Ks, something like that. Um, what motivates you to do those things? Like, what is the legacy that you want to leave behind? Are you doing it like for future family, like future kids, or yeah, what
It
inspires you?
really depends, right? Uh, it's more of a like in this day and age, it's really hard to make you know a big legacy in the terms of like having a good business,
Hmm.
get that business side like where you're really having an impact, hopefully, on the Philippines and then globally.
Hmm.
That kind Henry C thing.
Yes.
It's but I want to achieve that, but in a certain way that I don't want to put pressure to my kids, to my future kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not for you to be the next next to the throne.
Hmm.
It's more of a like who is the best person to continue it.
Mm, I see.
I think I think it instilled me where my dad uh had a law degree, wants to take a bar, and it didn't work for him, and then like okay, I'll just go through with it and make myself impact on what I currently doing
Hmm.
as a government employee. And I'm really sad at that time because it's my dream to become a lawyer.
Hmm.
But he told me like, no, just do your own thing. Just be yourself
Hmm.
and make the most of what you can do.
Hmm.
So like right now, I hope uh, my target is build a family,
Hmm.
part have have and or part with a business where I could lead into growth,
Hmm.
uh, have different uh, and pursue maybe MBA or PhD.
Hmm.
I already have my master's degree, but I think I wanted more on that field.
Hmm.
But it really depends, I just want to do more. It's just that
I see.
but it's not a race. It's not a marathon. It's
Yeah,
just I just go with it, and I want to lose it.
I see. I see. So it's just this constant desire to just get better at everything, like get better health-wise, get better um, professionally, get better in um, obviously having your own family. So
Yeah.
being a good dad too, and being a good parent, and being a good husband to April.
Yes.
Um, that's beautiful. Yeah, it's just a pursuit of continuous growth, which is
And
beautiful.
that feeling where money is not a problem.
Hmm.
It's more of like, and you also want to give back,
Yes.
like freely, like there's no looking for a different uh and you could give back freely, and it's not just like, oh, I don't want to do that because I'm still saving up, something like that.
Yeah.
uh it's more of that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I agree. The dream is to have generational wealth, right? Building the generational wealth so that our kids don't have to worry about that and they can
Yeah, I
focus
think
on their passions. Yeah.
it's more on that you're contented with it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want be yeah, I know everyone wants to be greedy in somehow, some way,
Hmm.
but there's level of contentment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I had the same conversation with Larissa, my wife, and she talked about like at some point you can't just keep chasing for the next like how much more? Like I was talking about the same thing, right? Like I want to do more. I want to make
Yeah,
more. I want to like maybe open up a business in the future to make more money. And she was talking about like when is more enough?
yeah,
And it was a good realization of maybe we're good with what we have. Obviously, it comes with the privilege of having enough to sustain our basic needs and then
yeah,
have some savings. Uh, but at some point, there is an opportunity to use the extra time to help out others, to devote that time either to faith, devote that time to helping others build themselves. And so it was a good time to reflect on how do we use our time, especially here on Earth, right? And I guess that leads me to what I'm thankful for, because I had a I had a close encounter of it's not death, but obviously I had to go to the hospital this past
Yes.
weekend, and I didn't realize how significant this was going to be. So, going back again to this, I got bit
Yeah, I want
by
to know more about that. Come on.
yeah, this is a I got bit by my aunt's dog. It's a Chihuahua, small dog, like no more than 10 pounds. But this Chihuahua is on
Yeah.
the older side. He's he's very protective of my aunt. And so we visited her this past weekend, and
Okay.
uh this dog, he ended up falling off of his chair. So he's like on a chair, he's chilling there, fell off. And I think he was like shook by what happened. And so I picked him up,
Hmm.
and then he ended up biting me on the arm, on the hand, on like
Well,
the
I can relate. I can relate in a sense because we have a Chihuahua here at our house, and she is really protective to us.
mm, yeah,
When we got her, she's still a puppy, so she
mm,
really knows. I would say who her masters are. Is that a perfect term for that? Like,
probably, yeah.
she
Owner,
knows.
master, yeah,
Yeah, like she direct. So it's myself, my dad,
yeah,
my mom. So there was a time like my friend got in there and then like she got out and then like she's really mad.
yeah.
Good thing. And now we're training her to be familiar with April
Oh, I see. It's
so
taking
that
this time. Yeah,
yeah. So if it's she's still adjusting.
yeah,
Uh
yeah. Chihuahuas are feisty, dude.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're great. So they're small, but they're very protective of their
Yeah,
owners,
they're great and
which
they're really sweet. When because they're painting our fences and they she keeps on barking. So it's really loud. So we move it to another place, and like she's really like almost crying and her face is like frowning.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
it's kinda. But some Chihuahuas are really sweet.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Probably it's more of
Absolutely.
it's an environment thing. Probably she's really protective.
Agreed, agreed. And it's because she lives alone with my aunt, and yeah, she
There you
was
go.
just she I think she was just shook by the fall and then seeing someone else that's brand new. So he ended up biting my arm, my hand, and then it ended up
Uh huh.
puncturing through the skin.
Oh
So
my God.
yeah. And out of reflex, I ended up pulling my hand, so uh it took some of the skin off too. So without getting too graphic, I mean I could put the picture in the video if our viewers are not squeamish. But yeah, it ended up puncturing the skin. The crazy part was the following day, Larissa and I had a triathlon in the
Okay.
lake,
Okay.
in a local lake here in Los Angeles.
Uh huh.
So I had the open wound, didn't have time to go to the doctors yet. So I
Doctor.
just washed it because I was like, it's fine. It's small. He has small teeth. Like, probably not a big thing. So the following day, ended up swimming in the lake. Probably not a good idea because they say if you have an open wound, don't swim. Um, Good thing
Oh
was we
my
ended
God.
up finishing the triathlon, but
Okay.
towards the night, so this was Sunday night, we get home and I was looking at my arm. I was like, it looks like there's
Small.
my veins were really red. So it was swollen. around my hand, around my wrist, and then it started like going down my veins. And I
Oh
was like,
my
huh,
God.
this is interesting. Like I've never seen this before. I thought I was just like I scratched it, but then it's been a few hours of like the veins were just like showing red. I was like, okay, maybe we
Okay.
should call the doctor. But at this point, I'm still not freaking out because the doctors like I didn't feel any pain, just felt swollen. I was like, oh, I'll be fine. Called the doctor, did like a virtual visit. Doctor said, hey, you should go to the emergency room now. Like so the marking, the streaking went all the way up, all the way up to my elbow. And he
Okay.
said, if the streaking reached closer to the armpits where the lymph nodes are,
Oh
it
yeah.
could turn into sepsis. I was
Okay.
like,
Now that's more scarier.
I didn't know what sepsis was. I didn't know how bad that was. I was like, oh, okay. All right. I guess we'll go tomorrow. He said, no, you gotta go tonight. So so this was 10:30 at night. We go to the emergency room. And of course I didn't feel it. I wasn't feeling any like pain. And we talked to the nurses. They're like, okay, well, we're probably gonna have to admit you because you need to get antibiotics and then flush out any like bacteria. So ended up getting admitted at 2:30 in the morning.
Okay.
Got to bed, still feeling okay. And then throughout this time, like all the shout out to all the Filipino nurses on the crew because they took great care of me at the Kaiser Hospital here in
It's good
Ontario.
that they didn't uh uh scold you.
They were laughing at me. They're like, why would you swim in a lake of all places? And then they were also scolding me like, you should have gone like right after the bite.
That's a
But
very Filipino trait. Like, if it's others, probably like they don't care. They're just gonna treat you.
yeah,
If it's a Filipino nurse, and it's probably if it's a mom already,
yes, absolutely.
then you're gonna feel that mom care.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, that was the hospital visit. They opened up the wound and I am on antibiotics for the next 2 weeks, and Larissa has been generously changing my my bandages and my wounds every morning and night. So extremely thankful for that. Just thankful for the gift of life. Like this whole ordeal is like making me realize how important health is. Like I didn't realize that this is such a fatal thing. Like I was taking it lightly, but I had to remember that stuff like this happens, and I need to be more careful around dogs, more careful about like just how to take care of my body. But also thankful that we were able to uh, do the triathlon, right? I think there was a level of stubbornness about like, oh, we're still gonna do it. We're still gonna finish it because we signed up for it. So it's a bit of that, a little bit of both. Gift of health. Um, yeah. And the other thing I'd like to call out to is the gift of growing spiritual life. Because I think throughout
Oh,
this whole
definitely,
ordeal,
definitely.
I was realizing like, so over the last few months, I've just been getting closer to the church again, like getting involved at church, been singing at choir, um, involved with the young adult ministry here. So like my, I feel like my spiritual life is really good. And I felt like this weekend was legit I was joking around like the devil was working hard this weekend, but God is working harder. I was
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah.
because on top of all of that, um, I got a flat tire during my bike ride, so had to like change the
Oh,
tire.
definitely. God is working harder.
Oh,
You
dude,
got
so many things went wrong, and it was just like a lot more things, even at the hospital, that I'm not gonna go into details anymore. But it just at the end of the day, it felt like God was really working hard on my side, and He was um, showing to me that, like, dude, you have an amazing life, and I will take care of you. And
yeah,
this is a clear example of like put me through all the tests and all the trials, and still come out of it uh, just
yeah.
amazing.
But you know, it's still your decision. It's your decision. When you had your stubbornness overpower it, and then and you've seen it, that's the decision. Because you can
Yeah.
still not go to the hospital. You
Yes.
can still decide that, but you still go too. So it's still on you. God is dead. It's still up to you
Yes.
on how you come up. So, and to add that, faith and spiritual life. On my end, it's I've been with the church and has as a Christian, as a reader
Hmm.
for like a decade. Uh, and then suddenly, like I feel more like, okay, I think I've done enough.
Hmm.
Enough to serve. So I wanted, feel that I could do more on other things, but still my
Hmm.
faith is still intact.
Yeah.
Uh, I want to explore more different things and still serving the Lord.
Yeah.
On my own way.
Hmm.
I think my deep love to it through my faith is my strength as well to overcome things.
Hmm.
And April is telling me like, how can you not be so mad? Like you're not mad at all. You cannot be mad for like for 2 days or a day.
Yeah.
Like after you got mad, like after 30 minutes, like you're all good. You're good now.
Yeah.
I think it's related to faith and my perspective to it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Where as you, uh, uh, it's always you do bad things, but if you just do good and be good and like remove the negativity,
Yeah.
you'll be fine.
Absolutely. I think at the very root of it, um, it's about reflecting on your blessings. Like there's joy in being rooted in gratitude. And I think
Yeah,
this probably is a good wrap up to our conversation today about Thanksgiving because um, the joy that I think me and you both have about life is rooted
yeah,
in our gratitude for life, gratitude to God, gratitude for the things that He has given us, and yeah, that I will wrap it up here where with a final shout out to my spiritual director, Father Radmar Jao. He's actually a Filipino priest. He's an actor turned priest, and he taught me that I know with all the busyness of life, it's very easy to forget to pray. He said, if you really don't have time, just look up at the sky and say, "Thank you, God." Like there's so much to be grateful for, to be
yeah,
the gratitude of being alive for another day, gratitude of having uh, a sky, sun that's like shining on you, like all of that at the very smallest of things. It's just being gratitude for the life that you have right now. So, uh, wrap up for our viewers and listeners, especially as we prepare for the season of Christmas. What are you guys thankful for? Um, we invite you to all take some time to reflect on the blessings you have received this
yeah,
year and the challenges you have faced as well, because that's just as important uh, to think about in this life and how you have overcome it or have yet to overcome it, and
yeah,
understanding who the people are around you and or resources that are around you to help you overcome. So we'll leave you guys to that. Again, we remind you to subscribe, leave a comment below if you are on Spotify or on YouTube. Please share the podcast with your friends if you guys enjoy this, if we have been part of your commutes, of your daily life or your weekly life, whatever it is. We hope that we have become a good resource or just someone for you guys to listen to. And please let us know any new content or future guests that you'd like us to feature on this show. We'd love to bring them on and talk to you guys. If you guys want to come on too, hop on. We'll just talk to you and learn from you as well. So thank you
Yeah,
again for,
definitely.
yes. Thank you again for another good episode of Cali Manila Chronicles, Chismis at Recuerdos, the podcast. See
Thank
you
you, everyone.
guys.